Okay, so triads. Let's talk about triads a little bit.
My favorite topic in the world, by the way.
Mine too. Triads. We talk about seventh chords and all this other stuff, but triads are kind of the end all be all of everything. And the better you are acquainted with them on your instrument, the better everything goes.
It's 3/5 of the pentatonic for you guitar players at home.
Yeah, and you know to kind of just get started, I think if you aren't unbelievably familiar with all your triads up and down the neck, going on all the different string sets, and I don't mean being able to figure it out.
Knowing them.
Being able to do like I just did, bum 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 bum,
Right.
all 12 keys. Can I go all 12? Can I go all 12 keys? And keep going and just all in one spot. Can you do that on all the string sets? Once you got that, okay, now you got them.
Right.
And we were talking about this just before I started filming, but this can be everything. Like when I play, a rock gig or an original music gig, or when I do a studio session, and I have to. We're in a studio. I'm pointing over here, as if you can see what's over here. But there's a whole thing over here.
There's nothing there. He's crazy.
Yeah. But when I'm asked to create parts, so say I'm playing Brown Eyed Girl. So we have. So he created something interesting. All he did was play the triads. And adding those to your triads. Here's G. Okay, well here's the fifth. Here's sus. Here's the ninth for the second. Here's second go. Back to C. Now I'm creating little melodies. I'm just playing. Here's my triad, and I just know my scale around it. Play all the notes that are accessible.
Think about how much that makes. Think about how much more knowledge you gain from the fretboard as well. If you can look at let's say like this G over D, and you can say, okay, well here's D, and I'm gonna play my G major scale starting from this point, and just using that position, not even going beyond that, but just staying in seventh position. And being able to maneuver your way around the guitar that way, that is such a valuable thing to be able to do. And so that's just one instance of a million instances of where having a strong foundation in triads will make your playing so much stronger and make you more confident a player, frankly.
Yeah, I can do something like so here in C. I'm just playing a C triad, and I'm just ornamenting it with the notes around it. You can see this a lot in Jimi Hendrix's, his rhythm guitar playing on Little Wing and all those different tunes. But use that, run with that. That is everything, because the better you can see your triads, the better you can make your changes. When you're playing this tune, the better you can, the more options you have for comping, the more options you have for making your own parts for something. If you're making original music, or if you're playing a cover gig, or just jamming with some friends, and you don't want to just play chords because maybe he's playing chords.
Yeah, and the worst thing in the world is when two guitar players play the same thing.
Yeah, because what are we doing?
Yeah, there's only one person needs to play that thing, and then the other person plays something else that's interesting that complements that in a nice way, and then you have music. It's a novel idea.
Yeah, and so if he's strumming, Brown Eyed Girl, you can easily do that. And adding sevenths to that, if you know where your triad is, 7.
You know what though? Honestly, like just that's completely valid and totally true. But I don't even think it needs to be that difficult of an endeavor. I think like developing a strong sense of where the triad is and really seeing what's under your finger without moving the shape at all is plenty just to get
Yeah.
your feet wet. Like something I do with all my students is like we'll take like like play a C chord for me. So let's say you're going like so just go through that and play your all your string sets. And just use some kind of rhythmic device to move those triads around. And what you and everyone instantly when they noticed is like, oh, this sounds like music, like instantly. And they're there, and all of a sudden they're playing something that is not an exercise their teacher's making them do. It sounds like something musical and tangible. And so you can go through this and every string set. That was one chord.
Yeah, this is one chord.
Like,
That was fun.
How do you? It's impossible to overstate how much music is hiding in these things, and we should know them anyway. It's supposed to be stuff that we know anyway.
Yeah, and one last thing, if you look at an C major 7, that's an E minor.
It's an E minor. You're making money.
Yeah, all the 7th chords are 2 triads together.
That's it.
And then you start stacking to get to the 11, 13, 9. There's just additional triads too. So all this stuff pays huge dividends the better you get at it, and the more ways you can see it.
And one thing we haven't even talked about is like getting back to finding the 7ths from the triad shapes, like playing other triads on top of someone else playing. Like for example, like play a C chord. If I play an E minor triad, now it's a C major 7, just like what you were saying. But that gives us a whole different color than we had a second ago.
Absolutely.
And so that understanding those relationships kind of intervallically, like how does a C and an E minor, what do they have in common? That kind of stuff. That's a huge part of what makes this valuable and worth our time. It's the most important thing that we can do. I'm telling you. I have a student. He's a really, really interesting cat, and he's an older guy. And every time I see him once a week, and every time he's leaving, he asks me a question to think about for the week. That's a cool thing to do. Yeah. By the way, you should start doing that with people. It's really, people like look at you like, whoa, what? And so it went like, this is about a year ago. I still think about it all the time. And he said, here's your question today. If you could give someone one piece of advice about playing the guitar, what would it be? And man, like that's a hard question to answer. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm sure you have a lot of feelings about the guitar, as do I. Yeah. Like that you want to impart on people. And I said, so a week later I came back and I saw him and I said, I think it's understanding like really knowing the triad. And he said, "You sure? Like there's going to be some kind of punishment? Yeah. Like there's a wrong answer, But he said, "You sure?" I said, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure." And he said, "Why?" And I said, "Because if you understand the triad, then you have your hands around more or less what the melody is going to be doing at some point. That's a big one. Like every great song, the melodies are born from the triads that are being played, from the chords that are being played." And I said, you have your hands around the melody. You understand the way the guitar is built, which, as anyone who plays a guitar can tell you, that it's kind of like it can be kind of a nightmare sometimes. And all this information, and it's laying on 3 consecutive strings. So you have E, G, C, 3, 5, 1. You have C, E, G, 1, 3, 5. You have G, C, E, 5, 1, 3. And you have E, G, C, 3, 5, 1. C, E, G, and so on. And by seeing how those notes lay on the guitar, all the answers are there. And then if you can do that with all the, well, obviously it's 12 keys, but that's 12 keys. I mean, like do one a week, and that's 12 weeks. 4 months, 3 months, and
Yeah,
you're,
and you know
cooking.
the whole guitar.
You know the whole guitar. You know every note in the West. Like, yeah, you're cooking. So that's my answer. So do this at home. Here's your homework. If you could give somebody one piece of advice about playing the guitar, what would it be? And tell us in the comments.
Yeah, and then one last thing on that, as we're talking about, on 3 strings, listen to how beautiful this sounds when I just spread it out. So here's
open triads. Man, you must be reading my mail.
These are the prettiest things I can do.
It's all of it.
And it's still just
3 notes.
Just 3 notes.
3 notes. Yep, I know. Tell me about it.
There's a lot there. It's deep.